And then we can get into this element that maybe most people would be really surprised by, which is the witchcraft side of it. What's the connection between witchcraft and feminism?
Yeah, so going back to the revolutionary period, this is really when we kind of deviate from ancient forms of thinking with metaphysics and we had the church and we had the altar, and this is a brand new period where things like Marxism and collectivism are coming out as new ideas, and everybody's trying to throw off the yokes of authority, right? So it's kind of, feminism was really important to revolutionary thought because you can't kind of overturn the social order without including women's liberation in that. Something you'll notice over the course of what we're going to talk about today is that certain women were kind of plucked from obscurity and shoved to the forefront by people with lots of money because they felt like those people's ideas were helpful to the cause. And when you have a woman saying it, people are much less likely to, behead her or things like that. So it was kind of expedient to put women at the forefront of some of the revolutionary ideas because they might get a little frowned upon or something like that, but it wasn't as likely that they would, face like serious political repercussions. So
it's a good
Wollstonecraft
it's an optics and tactics move, right, in part. But also, as you said, it is itself a move against conservative traditional norms of boundaries and roles that men and women have. And so if you have a revolutionary philosophy, you want to disrupt the existing social order, what better way to do that than things like putting women in the men's role, putting women into the workforce, putting women into battle, all of which was actually beginning at this time period.
Yeah. People might be surprised to learn. We think that like the gender swapping or gender abolition ideas are new. A lot of people think that's from the last decade or two, but these are actually very old ideas that do go back to this period. You could arguably even say they go back to ancient times, but certainly during the revolutionary period in France, you had people like Simon Guinot and Mary Wollstonecraft and other gender bending figures who wanted gender abolition. We're talking the late 1700s. And this was always a part of feminism. Feminism always had elements of it that wanted gender abolition and basically just to erase any sort of boundaries or differences among people. One of the people I wanted to mention today, too, is not just Mary Wollstonecraft, but Victoria Woodhull, who was an American women's lib person from the 19th century. And she gave a famous speech where she made appeals to religious liberty in the American Constitution, which was, born out of this revolutionary period as well. And she insisted that the natural conclusion of the ideas in the Constitution and of this revolutionary period were going to be abolition of marriage and even gender abolition. Because she said these things were, central to liberty, like this ultimate liberty for liberty's sake, right? We're going to just get rid of divisions between people, boundaries and differences that could cause conflict. And that's going to lead us to this new age, one world era of peace. So these are very old ideas that were baked into feminism right from the start.